Hi people, my name is Bekir again as always and as usual. Yeah, you can tell I'm gonna cover the voodoo god Damballah, spelled Damballa, and there are different variations. There's a variation where there's an H at the end, it just goes on. But we'll just stick with the one without the H. But when I pronounce it, Damballah, it's like I pronounce it with the H. So yeah, that's just to tell you in advance. Also, this video is a short video, as you can tell or see. There's not a lot to say. Damballah is one of the most important spirits in voodoo, in the voodoo pantheon. So within the voodoo god structure or system, he is one of their main gods. If you want to read all about him, simply consult the Wikipedia section as usual, and there is always in the description of this video. I'm simply going to discuss the way I always and as usual do, what any magician that wants to work with Damballah, what he has to offer, and his planetary alignments, etc., etc., etc. I'm not going to get into anything for the rest. This has been coming for a while now, albeit a short while, in the sense that when I was busy covering the others, like Oshun and the other voodoo gods that I've covered on my channel, not Papa like Ben Baran Samedi, those were 3 years ago. I forgot his name, I'm sorry, hold on for a second. The Martian one, give me a second. Ogun, sorry, the Orisha Ogun. In any case, but yeah, he's an Orisha. He's also used in voodoo, but it's different if I recall correctly. Like I said, but most of them have close associations. Oshun is one of them. Okay, but again, I'm not going to get into that. Discussing in short what Damballah, who Damballah is, and whatnot. I'm going to start backwards this time. First off, his appearance. Damballah appears as a creature with the body of a man and the head of a serpent. Generally speaking, this is primordial form. Generally speaking, he can have different items in his hands and whatnot, so that doesn't really apply. But his, generally speaking, regarding his serpentine head, it is that of a cobra. I repeat, it is that of a cobra. There can also be miscellaneously colored snakes that associate him, like white, black, floating in the air or on the ground, and just miscellaneous serpents. But generally speaking, it's a mixture. Some of them are constrictors, others are venomous, like pit vipers, of course his cobra head itself, you name it. What else can I say? When listening to the Wikipedia thing, because I had it converted from text to speech for convenience's sake, when listening to it, it said that during possessions, during invocations where people allow themselves to be possessed, aka be ridden by spirits, for example during voodoo possession ceremonies or similar, they the person or the people that get possessed by him, they behave like snakes and they start crawling on the floor and whatnot, etc., etc. That's simply something interesting to note. I don't really have an opinion on it. It would be something that I would find interesting to see, but albeit not too interesting. Anyways, now let's get down to business from a neutral perspective. And again, I want to remind people the whole bullshit regarding initiation and all of that. No. Okay, Damballah, for example, he is a pagan spirit, a pagan god. You can literally work with any spirit you want. I can easily work with any one of these guys if I want, and it will be no different, and I will, due to my skill level, obviously do a lot better, dare I say, than someone that is initiated and someone that is someone that has that essentially was born into and grew up in the voodoo culture. So again, all of that's bullshit. Don't even bother, okay? Don't even bother with that. Like I've already mentioned in a video of mine, as well as one of the latest articles on my website. You want to check that out, just check the link in the description below, as well as the end screen. In any case, let's get down to business. Damballah is lunar. he corresponds to 26 degrees in Cancer. That 26 degrees means that he lays emphasis on agriculture, husbandry in general. So Damballah is ideal for farming purposes. People that are farmers, they engage with farming on a day-to-day life. Of course, he can do things all across the board. It's not just farming. He can simply improve your life overall, improve your household, see to it that you become prominent and that you simply are capable of rising through life, just overall prosperity, or just you can just prosper overall. When you read and or listen to the Wikipedia entry, you'll see for yourself that the associations with water with Damballah are there, and that's also why he's lunar, unsurprisingly. But I remember that when I wanted to thingy him first, when I wanted to, I don't know, I just unwittingly sensed his energy. I sensed Aquarius, and I was like, Aquarius? We'll see if you're Aquarian. And that's not the case, but I did see why I felt the Aquarian energy. For example, if I personally wanted to work with him, okay, he's lunar across the board, like general. But if I, for example, as an individual, as well as the average individual wanted to work with him, the amount of energy that would usually come to play would be of an Aquarian nature. But that's because Aquarius as a zodiac sign lays emphasis on fulfilling people's hopes, wishes, aspirations, and expectations. Essentially, again, just making all of their dreams come true, so to speak. And that's why I said, okay, Damballah, yeah, he specializes in that specifically. Agriculture, things that have to do with water irrigation, you name it. Just think of a typical farmer that uses, that waters his crops and engages in anything from small time to major agriculture or intermediary agriculture, generally speaking, would work best, he says, and simply has water irrigation systems placed, etc., etc., etc. Just overall keyword is fertility. Other than that, a guy that herds cattle, etc., just engages in overall husbandry, breeds fowl. It just goes on and on and on. That's what Damballah specifically is good for, and that's what, as far as I know, the majority of his followers, he says, they rely on him for that. Okay, a lot of farmer worship, if you will, or farm worship, or worship from farmers, or people that used to be farmers, or were farmers at some point. And yeah, there is one drawback in working with him, though. Do bear in mind that just because of what I said doesn't necessarily mean that he can make you super wealthy or super rich. No, wealth will come into play, but don't expect tremendous wonders. He's not a bank, he says. LOL, I'm not a bank. What else can I say? Yeah, last but not least, there is one drawback in working with him, which is associating with others, forming bonds and relationships with others, especially marriage. Okay, there will be friction due to potential financial issues or just not making any overall progress in associating with others. Let's just say fickleness. Working with Damballah, especially in the long term, will bring about the strong tendency or probability of you becoming fickle, as in superficial. So friendships or relationships of any kind will essentially, they won't feel tight. You won't see any progress in the sense of, hey, we've become friends, and then the friendship progresses to the point where you become BFFs, best buds, whatever. Again, the same way that any relationship works by default, in the sense that you get to know each other's quirks and whatnot. Nah, if you work with Damballah, there's a high probability that you're, in the long term, especially like I said earlier, there's a high probability that your relationship of any nature will barely be able to get off the ground due to essentially stagnation, again, due to the aforementioned. Okay, so that is the drawback that working with him brings along with it. But so many a time, okay, especially in the long term. That is all. You can see based on the thumbnail of this video that his seal is his Vede or seal. whatever you want to call it, is very snaky. He says that he would appreciate, for example, as an offering, a live serpent, other than the things that are mentioned in the Wikipedia article. But people are welcome to offer anything, okay? Something that would hold longevity in a practical way. For example, when erecting an altar for him would be a statuette, for example, of a serpent, especially one that's coily or one that coils. And that is all. Yeah, and that's all regarding Damballah. Nothing else. See you guys later. Bye bye.